So this is homework for Tuesday. So if you're doing homework on Monday night, make sure you click back to the other tab, do the one on Monday. It says it right above the video. And this is the Monday homework. I haven't posted the Tuesday yet. But if you look here, this is where the study guide is. If you click there, if you didn't get it in class for whatever reason, it's right here. I'm not going to post it to the next one because it's already posted to Mondays and it has the front and back. But on Tuesday, you're supposed to do the back side of the homework. So that's what we're going to talk about. Here's problem 10 from the back of the homework. If I only have 15 minutes, so if it ends abruptly, that's why I use the entire 15 minutes, but anything I don't cover will be thrown up as a warm-up, so you'll get to see it. You did see it in class by the time you're watching this. So each batch of muffins requires 1 2/3 cup of applesauce. Sid needs to make 3 batches of muffins. How many cups of applesauce? So he needs 1 2/3 for each batch. And we know he needs to make 3. So he needs to do this 3 times because there are 3 batches. Well, we can clearly see that that's a multiplication problem. So we're going to go ahead and multiply those. And we know the first step of multiplication is fraction form. So we're going to make this into a fraction that's improper and make this into a fraction. 3 times 1 is 3 plus 2 makes 5/3. And then 3 would be 3/1. Now, you could just multiply straight across. Because I like my numbers to be smaller, I'm going to cross simplify right here. 3 goes into both 3 and 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 5 times 1. 5 times 1 is 5. 1 times 1 is 1. You're fine. And then 5 divided by 1 is 5. So he needs 5 cups. And we're going to the next one. I'm going kind of fast, but you can rewind if you need to see it, and then also type your questions into Edmodo, or just come talk to me about them. But I'm going fast so that I can cover them in that 15 minutes and not make you watch this video all day. Let's read this next one. Okay. Let me pause. All right, sorry about that. I went ahead and paused and resized this so that you could actually see it. So how much do pears cost per pound? And it gives you a hint. It says divide the amount Russell spent by the number of pounds of pears. So generally when you see that word per, depending on the situation, it's often going to mean to divide, although sometimes it means to multiply. We'll look at that when it comes up. But in this case, how much per pound, since it's asking how much for each pound, you're going to divide. And that word each, if you ever see it, which is sort of the same thing, how much for each would be a division problem. We'll get into this a lot when we do unit rate, but you're going to see some word problems like this that have it now as well. So to find out how much for each pound, we go, let's see, for pears, they bought 3 pounds of pears. And those 3 pounds cost $2.40. So we want to find out how much each costs. So we're taking that $2.40 and splitting it between 3 pairs. So that's division, because you're splitting $2.40 between 3. We'll bring our decimal straight up. 3 doesn't go here, so 3 goes into 24 8 times, which is 24. There's no remainder. We bring down a 0, it goes into 0. You wouldn't normally have to put this 0, but because it's money, you want 2 decimal places, so you put 80 cents. And that's per pound. So anytime it says per pound or how much for each, that's usually going to be a division problem. How much do grapes cost per pound? So let's find the grapes. So you can get 460, or 460 will get you 2 3/10 of a pound. So we're taking the 460 and dividing it between 2 3/10. Now we know we can't have a decimal on the outside, so we move it, which means we move this and bring it straight up. 23 goes into 46, I'm thinking 2 times. Let's see, so that would be 6, 4, it goes evenly, that's good. Bring down our 0. Once again, normally you wouldn't do this, but since it's money, we can go ahead and put $2. So grapes are $2 per pound. All right, moving on to the next one. Last week, Jane made deposits of $64, $25, $37 to her checking account. Then she wrote these 2 checks. What's the overall change? So we know deposit means she's adding money, which would imply that it's a positive integers. So we're going to take our positive integers first. just like that. So there are 3 positives. Then checks is money coming out, so that's actually negative integers. So instead of plus 52, it's going to be plus a negative 52. Instead of plus a 49, it's writing a check, so it'd be negative 49. And there's a chance that you're going to get these on this test without even thinking of it this way, but this is the good way to start thinking about it, so that's the way I'm doing it. What I like to do is I'll add all my net positives together first, and then add all my negatives together. And just like yesterday, just to speed things up, I'm just going to grab a calculator and just do it there. And I'm confident you can add 64 plus 25, so you don't need to watch me do that. 25 plus 37. So we got 126 for that. And then we have 2 positives, so since they're the same sign, we're going to add those together and keep those as well. So we have 52 plus 49, so that'd be negative 101. Now the 2 remaining integers have different signs, so we know we subtract, and since the bigger number is positive, it'll be positive. So 126 minus 101 would be 25. So her account changed by $25, and it went up 25 because it's positive. So many people miss this one. Really pay attention to this. So many people miss this kind of problem when they did the quiz, because we've done so much since we did these little bar things. Remember, those are called absolute value. We've done so much since we did absolute value that people, last time we did it, they forgot and they did stuff like that, and that is wrong. That's only if it were parentheses. For this, the first thing we do is this absolute value. Remember, absolute value is the distance from 0. So if I drew a number line and put negative 24 and counted, it would be 24 spaces from 0. So remember, absolute value is just the positive form of the number. It's always positive. Now this negative, since it's not inside the bars, needs to come straight down. And so your answer is going to be 76 minus 24. And that's a basic division problem that I know you can do, so I'm not going to do that for you. But 76 minus 24. And number 15, at the football game, Joe carried the ball 4 times. He had a loss of 15, so let's go and get that integer. Since it's a loss of 15, switch colors so it stands out. Let's see, we put negative 15. A gain of 2, so that would be positive 2. A loss of 5, so plus negative 5. And a gain of 7, so plus 7. What was his total yardage? So just like we did before, to me it's easier to go ahead and put our negatives together first. So I have a negative 15 and a negative 5. So I know that's negative 20 yards. I'll put my positives together. Positive 7, positive 2, be positive 9. And then I notice they're different, so we subtract. 20 minus 9 is 11. The bigger number is negative because he lost more than he gained. So he lost 11 yards in all. Moving on. Which integer is described below? So the absolute value of a number is 5, and the number lies to the left of 0. So if I drew a number line, here's 0. To the left is here. Its absolute value is 5, which means it's 5 spaces, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 spaces from 0. Well, if it were 5 spaces from 0 this direction, it would be positive 5. But since it's to the left of 0, that would be negative. This would be a number whose absolute value is 5, and it's 5 to the left of 0. So A, negative 5. All right. Here's a fun one. Just do it 2 numbers at a time, just like we have done other ones before. First thing we do is negative 3 times negative 8. A negative times a negative is a positive. And just remember, think of this triangle. Negative times a negative makes a positive, so that'd be positive 24. I'm going to just copy everything else down. You really don't need those dots because they're parentheses, but that's okay. Then I'll go ahead and just multiply 24 times negative 7. A positive times a negative is a negative. If they're different, it's negative. And 24 times 7 be 168. Check, make sure I did that right. Sometimes I get in a hurry to get these finished. Always let me know if you notice anything. And then I'm going to multiply that by negative 19. So a negative times a negative, negative and negative make a positive. So it's going to be positive something. It's going to be positive 168 times 19. And since that would take a second, let's go ahead and just finish it here. Hopefully you did this on your own before and you're just checking anyways. 168 times 19, 3192. So 3,192. And if you got something different when you multiplied it on your own, that may be something that you write down to make a note of that you need to ask about, or go on Edmodo and say, how did that work out? And then I can do it for you. The first thing I notice here is one's a negative, one's a positive, so the answer is negative. And then you have 362 times 35. Let's go ahead and zoom in and do this one since there's another one of the same kind. Might as well. 5 times 2 is 10. 5 times 6 is 30, plus 1 makes 31. 5 times 3 is 15, plus 3 makes 18. Since I'm going to the second number, I put a placeholder 0. 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times 3 is 9. I have a 0, a 7, a 17, and a 2. So it'd be negative. And just a quick word of caution, sometimes you do all this work and then you forget the most important part, which is this negative sign. Since they're different, it's negative. Go ahead and get that negative first, then multiply so you don't forget to do that. All right. On this one, the first thing I notice is addition, so I don't need to change anything. I only change subtraction problems, one with a minus between them. Since the signs are different, I subtract. And I know I take the sign of the largest number, so 583 is bigger, so it's going to be positive. All I have to do is subtract the two numbers and see what I get. Just don't forget when you're doing this to regroup here. Make that a 13, and that is 7. So 13 minus 4 would be 9, be 1, so positive 19. Let me get the whole thing this time. Let's zoom out just a little more. May not get through the whole thing this time. There we go. Table shows the highest and lowest elevations of Louisiana. What is the difference? So here's what people do here that's wrong. And hopefully you're starting to see why that's wrong. It says difference, which means we do subtract, but this 8's already negative. So this negative goes with the 8 already. We still have to put a subtraction symbol because it says difference. So just remember, if one's negative, you're still going to have a subtraction, which makes a big difference because we know when it says subtract, we actually add the opposite. So we're actually going to add here 535 plus 8, which would be, let's see, 540, whoops, put those backwards, 543. And if you think about it in terms of a number line, sorry, that's crooked. There's 0 here, negative 8's here, negative 535 is way up here somewhere. Well, we're going to have to go up 8 and then up 535 more, so we're going to end up adding. So just try to visualize these if nothing else. If you don't get it this way, just draw a line of some sketch, and you can probably get those right if you'll do that. All right, 2021. First thing I noticed, they have the same sign. They're both negative. So if I look at the triangle here, a negative times a negative is a positive. So I know this is going to be positive. And I'll let you, I've already done one of these. I'm going to let you just, work that out. Just your answer should be positive. If you are unsure of how to do it, put something on Edmodo, do something so that we can all see and hopefully help you. Let me zoom into this one here. Now notice this is subtraction. So since it's subtraction, not addition, we do need to change it, but we have to add the opposite. The opposite of positive 583 is negative. Now I notice they have the same sign. When we have the same sign, we add and keep, so let's put the negative, and we're going to add. So 1,489. should be the answer to that one.